Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Some Dungeon Guy. Today we're going to be doing a quick walkthrough on how to make a regional map without taking a whole lot of time. Alright folks, well here we go. So, just going to do a quick run through. We're going to make just a blazing quick map, see how fast we can get through one of these things. Sort of as a proof of concept, right? We're just going to do a regional map. So we're going to make a new world, make a new region, as it were. It's pretty easy to do. If you have any familiarity with Inkarnate, you're going to go through this pretty quickly. So you at least know the basics, right? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some land, right? So really depends on where you want your land to be. You know, I'm an island person when I make new worlds. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're just going to paint ourselves in a coast, yeah? So basically make it a big bay. I'm going to get the general outline of what I want. I'm going to increase this roughness a little bit. You know, one of the things about making maps is that people tend to like flip out and want all these details and things. The details come, right? So as long as you're making your map and you can functionally use it, add another island out here, right? Just that easy. I don't like the green default I've got going on today, so we're going to switch it up to a little bit of grasslands. Alright. Yeah, almost doesn't matter, but we're going to go ahead and select the whole thing and slap it on there. Yep. Well, so then we got to think about what kind of city we want to do. Well, not really. First thing we're going to take care of some mountains. Since I'm a big mountain fan, you probably noticed in any of my videos that mountains just seem to make a map for me. So I'm going to add a couple mountain ranges through here, holding down the S and W keys to decrease and increase the size as we're going. Just vary it up a little bit. I'm just dragging, right? I don't even know what this map's going to look like yet. I'm just kind of winging it. Okay, we're going to keep a little bit of area up here, up in these top areas for like a hidden civilization maybe we could get to later. And then of course this could hook to your other worlds and regions. Right? Again, is there a right and a wrong answer? I guess maybe, but not really. Right, so we're going to choose some deciduous trees. I keep these kind of big just so you can kind of tell what they are. 21. So it's going to give you like a paintbrush style of tree lays. Tree lays? Is that a word? Not really sure. We're just going to get some forest in there. We're going to decrease this density down quite a bit. We're just going to bring the rest of them here. Alright, just going to fill her out just a little bit. Yeah. If you're going for like super map accuracy, you know, it might be one of those things a lot of times I switch up to different trees, so heck, why don't we just do that? We'll throw in some pine trees. Alright, now we're going to make our pine trees a little thick. We're going to let some pine trees be going through the trees. Or through them, not through the trees. We're going to make some pine trees going through the mountains. Okay? Just that simple, just that easy. Alright. Blend them in here a little bit. Now, if you're clicking, it's going to stamp no matter what, right? Alright, so we've got some of that. I don't know how many hills are going to stamp. Now, a lot of times I'll set my stamps to random. In fact, most of the time, just to get a little bit of variety in there, and it's going to make it pop out a little bit when you're looking at it. Now, I'm kind of placing some hills there. You see it started to make the map pop out. Now, when you look at these map stamp packages on the left-hand side, they're going to be mixed between battle maps and regionals. Honestly, pick and match between them just to suit whatever need you have, because they can be intermixed as much as you need. Fancy regional, you know. Now, next on the agenda, we're going to place a couple of towns. Now, when you talk about like real life maps, as it were, real life terrain. Now, towns typically are associated near some sort of resource, right? Like you got water, you got trees. You know, you don't have to put them anywhere. There's certainly no predetermined place that you have to put them. But putting them near water can give you some different opportunities. Like you can have a bay, of course. You can have ocean adventures. It's a shipping port, so there's going to be more merchants and travel. But you basically can put them where you like. You know, you don't have to be completely realistic, do we? All right, for our next civilization, maybe going to try this military camp. Now, once you've placed your towns, one of the next things you're going to do is you want to kind of put a few buildings on the outside, right? To give the town a little bit of depth, like to prove that it's an expanding sort of civilization. Now, what kind of buildings these have to be, you know, it really depends on what you're wanting, but I like to put little houses, sheds, shacks, farms, things like that. Once we start placing them around, one rule, sort of a guideline I found a while back, is that placing things in groups of 3 tends to make them look random, but not too random, right? So you can see placing these by 3s. The first set I put up doesn't look quite so random now, does it? So we've got a couple of towns, a couple of settlements. You know, then we got to be thinking, like, what else do we need? Really, what else do we need? Not a whole lot. We're really a large percentage of the way there. So as far as the regional map, of course, now you start breaking that down smaller, and we're a little different, but we've already got a region. And as I've sort of promoted before, you know, let's say I didn't know what kind of adventure I wanted to run. You know, maybe I wanted a one-shot, maybe I wanted to be part of a bigger campaign. Well, this is definitely one of those situations where I'm not really sure what I'm trying to accomplish when I start. You know, I'm having writer's block, so honestly, I start some of my best adventures planning just by making maps, right? So we have waterfaring adventures, we have mountain adventures, forest adventures. The opportunities that it unlocks as we're making our maps is almost endless. We could have, you know, some monsters living out here. Alright, notice this fountain up here on the assets, so we're going to place a fountain. And one of the good things about making maps digitally as opposed to paper or other means is that you can just move your terrain around, right? So we've chosen this fountain. You know, fountains give us a couple opportunities. Out in the middle of nowhere, it could be the fountain of youth, or it could be a curing fountain for a disease that's plaguing a local town. It gives you some options. And we can kind of fluff that up a little bit, maybe with some ruins or some things like that. Maybe it's the Fountain of Youth, as it were. So I'm going to choose some mountains, but I'm going to go back to the mountains here. Switch those out a little bit. Now again, I'm putting some smaller mountains. Their footprint doesn't tend to be as big, so let's make a little better filler, like when we're trying to make these mountain ranges throughout here. Now, one thing you may notice is that once I make something as like a point of interest or a location, I really like to kind of fill it out a little bit so it doesn't look like you just stamped it up on there. It's built into the terrain like it would be in real life. You know, you guys remember the real life, right? So then, you know, we pick these ruins and I'm like, well, I need to move some mountains. So we'll pull it up here. We're just going to slide this around. And it's, again, the benefit of a digital map versus a paper map. We slide it around and we can put it back where we want it. All right, so we've sort of decided on what we're thinking here. We've got the fountain, we've got the ruins. Now we're just going to go back through and texture it up a little bit. Now I'm going to add some trees. As you can tell, I don't like a whole lot of empty space. You need some, of course, but you know, you imagine this island was inhabited by trees and maybe people at some point. And those people maybe harvested the trees to build the city or the town or the temple. Is currently in ruins, right? They have rocks, they have timber. You know, we fill it in a little bit, and maybe you can imagine this fountain tucked into the woods. You have to go through an epic quest through the dark forest on the island in order to get to where you want to be. You know, adding any sort of texture to your map is going to give you the opportunity for a storytelling adventure down the road. Now, so we've got a fairly basic thing going here. Right. What can we add to some of these empty spaces? We probably go ahead and do another civilization. Right. So we'll just pop one right over here. Right. And well, that's a military installation. You know, what else do we really need? Not much. we have now successfully made a map. Yeah, do another small fort right beside it. Okay. Sort of an outpost. Now, we don't have anything up here. It clearly we left something. So, I'm going to go into my subtract tool. Look, so what we're going to do is we're just going to slap a little bit of water up in here. I'm going to realize that I didn't mean to make that shape, so we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to go here. We're going to bring this down. Change the size of my brush a little bit because we want it to conform to where we got. But I like the star pattern a lot of times because it's star pattern is going to get you more of a random organic shape. All right. Now that being said, I don't necessarily use the star pattern when I'm making my rivers. Now when I'm making my rivers, I try to switch here because your rivers are going to be kind of small in the grand scheme of things. But we are just we're gonna Y out that lake region. Yeah, we're gonna shrink that down a little bit. 5. We're gonna Y that out a little bit, like an actual inlet. And you want these things to snake, right? Because in the real world, things don't run smooth and straight. Okay. So again, we'll widen this out just a little bit as it interests you to see. Just like that, we've got a river, and then we're gonna slap a bridge across that thing. Okay, it doesn't have to be a fancy bridge, you know, let's do a wooden bridge, right? Let's say we're out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, it happens to fit the shape. Boom. And almost finally, we're gonna cheat. We're gonna use some wall towers here. We're going to make some like outposts on either side. Perhaps it's guarded. Maybe there's a tax to get across it, a toll. You know, again, whatever you got. Okay, so just like that, Inkarnate can be the easiest map program you use. In fact, I've used a couple. I like it because of its versatility, but boom, just like that, we have a basic region map. Now, of course, you can add things, roads, paths, you know, whatever you'd like to expand upon that idea. But as far as a working model, this gets you basically what you need. Let's say you're starting your campaign in one of these cities. Well, then guess what? At the very first map, you now have several destinations. You have a point of interest, something that can cause some controversy for the party. You've got another spot where an encounter of some sort, a good opportunity to roleplay would happen. And we've got some adventures to go on in the mountains, including lake. After a couple of sessions, you think, man, I've got a different direction from where we're going. Well, you know, maybe the players, if they got a map at all. Well, that should just about do it for today. Thanks for joining me as I make a simple and quick map in Inkarnate. As always, I'll ask you to hit the like and subscribe button for more content and drop some comments below so we can see what other video ideas you have. As always, have a great day.